What's shaking, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more A Flock of Seagulls and their 1995 album, The Light at the End of the World. And we're up to the title tune. I mean, I've been thinking about this phrase since I began the album. There's this poetry to it, but also there's this sense of epic, even fantastical type of setting, which is further to say it sounds like something from a fantasy novel or something from a larger than life or supernatural fictional world. So yes, I do wonder if there is something larger than life, and yet I feel like a lot of their songs are grounded in emotions, interpersonal relations, and thus the idea that maybe this person is a beacon to them. It's a light at the end of the world, something to strive for, something to drive toward, or something showing them the way amid all the other cacophony or difficulty or darkness. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is both grounded in human relations, but perhaps invoking phrases, visuals, or ideas that are on this fantastical scale. Of course, it might be none of that. Let's give it a listen and see what I can hear. This is A Flock of Seagulls. The song is The Light at the End of the World from the album of the same name, 1995. Very extra dimensional. Pan flute? That's one of the coolest things they've ever done. I I'm blown away. I mean, even after the first minute, I did expect it to have lyrics, but having heard it, I'm glad. It's like this art piece. It's this ambient, Eastern flavored, like far Eastern flavored mood piece. It feels like soundtrack music. And again, the pan flute, I was gonna make a Zanfir joke at the beginning, and like the more it goes on, it's like, no, this is really like taking me to a place where I feel like I've arrived on some rarefied mountain of wisdom that only those who scale such peaks can access or experience. And it felt like, again, otherworldly and yet also very human at the same time. Just really incredible sonics. There's these little percussive touches, little like snaps or water drops, little, drum touches, but not like drum set, more like, traditional folk style instruments. And then, of course, the pan flute in conjunction with those strings. It wasn't just the pan flute that gave it a bit of that East Asian flavor. It was the strings. It was the atmosphere. I felt like I was looking at first, like, the mists of the morning as they're burning off over, like, rice paddies, or, leading toward this mountain that the peak of which is, within the clouds. Just the whole thing was very visually and emotionally atmospheric, and obviously it's different from the other material on this album. It's different from the late 80s like dance style tracks. It's different from the early to mid 80s like new wave synth rock tunes. It's just really in its own category with their work. But as I said, and I love some of their early stuff, I like some of the stuff that's been on the last couple albums we've gone through, which again, I get it. There were different opinions about, what they've done after their first couple albums, which seemed to be universally acclaimed. But I've enjoyed the entire journey, and I've been very much enjoying this album, and yet none of that prepared me for what we just heard. That was brilliant. That was awesome. I'd love to see that as part of the score of some movie, which, because of the pan flute, I am thinking The Karate Kid, I'm thinking Mr. Miyagi, and, training Daniel-san and so on. But that aside, based on my own, like, movie history and, the pop culture when I was growing up in the 80s, this was a masterful track of world ambient, and I was very much here for it. So let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.